Previously in Round Sailing, we were well out at sea, sailing north from Hawaii towards Kodiak, Alaska. It's really good sailing now. We're doing like 7 knots and I think the wind is maybe 15 apparent. Still downwind. 15 knots apparent is like if we're doing 7 it would be 22 knots true wind. But the waves are much smaller now, so it's pretty smooth sailing actually. It's great. So it's cold. It's so cold inside. 10 degrees Celsius in the water and in the air. And in here it's like, I don't know, 16 degrees. And we don't want to run the heater too much because it runs from diesel, and we want to save all the diesel we can if we need to motor anymore. The rain hit us and we found a new leak.
We're 14 days out since Honolulu, and today is finally we have some sun again. We had some fog this night, but it has lifted now. The sun has burned it off, and we're on a beam reach, and we have about 350 nautical miles to go to Kodiak. There is a massive low coming in. So we're not racing, it's coming in late Saturday evening or Sunday. It's a big storm actually, or a strong gale I would say, and that will affect the area we're in right now and north from here. The different models, the forecast says a bit different on which region it will hit the worst, but we don't want to be out here, that's for sure. So we try to sail as fast as possible and still being a bit comfortable. So right now, we have one reef in the main and we're doing about 6.5 knots. So if we keep this pace, we'll be in Kodiak Saturday morning. So the last 24 hours we've been passing through a high pressure center, or the center of a high pressure system. So the wind has turned from southeast to northeast, and we had a bit of a calm in the middle where we had to motor for an hour or two. Some rain and some fog, but no, it's really nice and the visibility is good and not so cloudy. And if we should believe the forecast, there's going to be some sun in the coming days, just before this gale is coming in. We mostly sit down below, listening to podcasts, watching some movies, drinking coffee, and just taking it easy. I think we're pretty lucky. I mean, if we would have been 24 hours slower, this big storm or gale would have hit us. There is a gale warning actually issued for Kodiak, south of Kodiak Island, tomorrow night and the day after that. But it's not a gale warning, it's a small craft advisory, I think they call it. But from what I can see, it's going to be 25 knots, maybe gusting to 30 for a couple of hours. On the beam, so it shouldn't be a big problem. And after that the wind will die down totally. it's the calm before the storm, because then this massive low pressure is coming in and it's sucking all the air out. So then we probably have to motor the last 60 miles or so to Kodiak. But we have diesel, so that's no problem. So yeah, everything is good.
The battery is low. I have to change the batteries again.
Yeah. I think it's also a bit because it's so cold now.
Yeah. So this is our spot. It's a satellite tracker which tracks our position. So when we turn it on and we press this button, it's track our position, and we have a link on our website where you can follow us, and we can also send these messages that we send once every day to our families just to say everything is okay, and it also sends out our position. So we've actually been having it switched on 24/7 now since we left Hawaii. Like normally for the longer passages we maybe just switch it on maybe twice a day in 24 hours to save batteries. But yeah, because it takes quite a lot of batteries, so now we have to change them again. It's low battery now. Today is Wednesday. We've been out for 2 weeks, but it feels so much longer. We keep on talking about how it feels so much longer. It feels even longer than our passage to Hawaii. But I think it's because all of the changes in weather, it's colder, it's a lot of different type of sailing as well. So it just happens, more things happen, and I think that makes it feel longer. The days are also longer at my ad as well. Today is 4th of July, which is, by the way, now remember it is Independence Day of the United States. Congratulations! We are in the United States still. We have our Odyssey flag up. We are expecting to arrive Saturday, which is in like 3-4 days. It's gonna be so nice. Just a little bit stressed about this big low pressure that's coming in. It's like a really strong gale. Let's see how many degrees. 9.7 Celsius in the water. I don't want to fall in the water. Yeah, and it's right middle of the summer here. A little bit different from what we used to from Sweden. And the air temperature, well, it's 15, but I think it's because it's been in the sun.
Yeah.
15.
I think it's around 12 in the shade.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I have 3 layers on me and woolen socks. So it's cold. And I even sleep in these clothes now. So it's my everyday uniform. We're north of Vancouver Island now. And here these are the Aleutian Islands, which is part of Alaska, and here I think is Dutch Harbor, where you can also, it's a port of entry. Some people go there. We're almost there. But we're going there.
We're 320 nautical miles from Kodiak now, and yeah, it's a pretty miserable night really. We have the wind a bit forward of the beam, 17 knots at the moment, 18. It's been raining quite a lot, it's foggy, and yeah, the waves are starting to build. Yeah, this trip has been a bit more, yeah, how do you say, had to think a bit more strategic with the weather and the winds, which is a part of sailing that I really like. How to make the best of the weather forecast you get and what route to take, and yeah, and so far during this trip it's been great. Of course, with the aid of the Iridium, with the grip files that we've been able to download, it makes it a lot easier. One thing that maybe you don't think about when you're sailing in colder climate is that 20 knots up here, it's a lot more wind than 20 knots in the tropics, because the wind is more dense, so the weight of the wind is a lot more when it's cold outside. And right now we have it's 9 Celsius outside, and that makes a big impact on the weight of the wind because of the density. So you have to reef a lot earlier. If you compare, you're used to the wind speeds in the tropics when you have maybe 25-30 degrees Celsius, and now it's 9 degrees. And when you look at the wind speed, you have to think a bit differently. You have to reef a bit early. Yeah, so it's a bit different. And of course, when you're outside exposed to the cold and the wet environment and the fog, it wears you down a lot quicker. So it's definitely a lot more challenging sailing up here. So we've been at sea for 16 days, and we're going to reach Kodiak tomorrow morning. Right now it's pretty windy, it's around 25 to gusting to 30. We're fully reefed down and we're going on a beam reach to close reach. So it's pretty uncomfortable at the boat at the moment. But the waves aren't that big. They're pretty steep, but it's still okay.
Now we have like gale winds and winds coming on our beam. The wind is gonna drop after noon, like in 2-3 hours. It's gonna start dropping down. Tomorrow we arrive. We arrive in Kodiak Island. Oh, it's gonna be so nice. This passage has been, it has been like pretty rough in a way. It has felt so much longer than our previous passages, and I can't wait to arrive. It'll be really nice. Today is a beautiful day. The sun is shining and the sky is blue. It's so nice to see that. see snow! We see land! I see mountains with snow on the tops. Wow! This is such a special landfall. It's like we've never seen anything like it. And for 1.5 years we've just seen like the tropics with like forest, jungle, green. Now it's these giant cliffs, mountains with snow on top. It's cold, like so cold.
Yeah, but the wind has dropped a bit.
Yeah, not the waves though.
No.
Big waves. And you can tell that we are getting closer to land because there's a lot of birds around us. They probably think that we're a fishing boat waiting for the fish. So exciting. So exciting. Early this morning we were on the same latitude as our hometown in Sweden, Malmö, which is so cool. And back home in Malmö it's like 25 Celsius. It's like really hot, warm summer. They have amazing weather, and here it's quite a lot colder. It's like 10 degrees. So it's a very big difference from Sweden, even if we're on the same latitude. But we have the Gulf Stream that keeps, that helps to heat up our part of Scandinavia. Hey! Vad är det för en fågel?
So we'll arrive tomorrow at noon, Kodiak. It's 100 nautical miles left. So we're just sailing pretty slowly now. I guess we could have taken out a reef in the main, but I think we'll wait and just take it easy. In a couple of hours the wind will die down, I guess, and we'll have to motor up along the coast of Kodiak Island. It's going to be really great arriving now. It's been a long trip. It's felt really, really long. So it's 10 o'clock in the evening. We're making the final approach to Kodiak. We have around 80 nautical miles to go, so we'll arrive tomorrow. It's a really beautiful evening and the wind has dropped, so I hope we can sail for still some hours before we have to start the engine.
It's almost incredible to see land again.
Yeah, it's been a long trip.
Yeah. Kodiak Island, where the Kodiak bear lives. Over 3,500 bears live on this island. During the night we came closer to Kodiak Island and sailed north along its coast. It's such a beautiful day. We're so lucky with the weather. We have about 20 miles until we are in Kodiak Harbor. So it's just like there's no wind. Came out to this glassy water. Now it's a little bit of ripples on the surface. Wow, it's such a beautiful landscape. Feels great to be in Alaska. We just saw a sea otter passing by us. We thought it was a log, and then when he passed by, it's like, no, that's two eyes there. It's a sea otter. It was so cute. Oh, he's over there. Okay, so far I've seen puffin bird, gray whale. Oh yes, but I didn't get it on tape because it was too far away. And now sea otter. Yay!
Yeah, we got some fog again. So we have around 2 or 3 miles to go to the marina. And yeah, it's going to be so nice to get a slip and just relax, have a full night's sleep, and yeah, something nice to eat, and yeah, this is going to be a really nice landfall.
Woohoo! We're almost there. We can only see one sailboat in the marina, and the harbor captain said there was a lot of space, so we could just pick ourselves our mooring. A couple of fishermen helped us with the lines, and we stepped foot on land again after 17 days at sea.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. We really appreciate that. Join us next week when we start exploring the Alaskan waters.